It's Friday, my dudes.
TGIF, ladies and gentlemen. Thank God it is flat. Thank God it's Friday. End of a long week. I am happy to be here with everybody. We've got an exciting show, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of guests. God, it is lots of cool updates. Thank God it's Friday. So stick around. End of a long week. Have no fear. Happy to be here with everybody. Iron Real Media. We've got an exciting show, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of guests. God, it is lots of cool updates. Thank God it's Friday. So stick around. End of a long week. Have no fear. Happy to be here with everybody. Iron Real Media. We've got an exciting show, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of guests. God. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of Have No Fear right here with Iron Realm Media. My name is Josh Corey. We've got a full house this evening. Let's just jump right in. Let's say hello to one Mr. Zachary Zabala out there on the road in the desert, the nomad, Mr. Too Nice for Rice himself. Zach, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, man. It was kind of a crazy week. Halloween, I mean, I'm in a good spot. Beautiful place out here in Arizona. Beautiful sunsets and sunrises and all that good stuff. But got a little tipsy on Halloween night and wasn't paying enough attention to Hank, and he kind of wandered off. I don't know if he chased a rabbit but he was gone for about 2 hours, and I was lost. And it just scared the crap out of me. Now I won't let him out of my sight at all. But, yeah. And it happened about 3 o'clock. Me and my buddy noticed he wasn't around, and we searched until about 5:45. And then my buddy came back to go jump in his Jeep and get a few hours of sleep. And I just sat down by the fire, and I was getting ready to lose it. And Hank came walking up with his head down. And I couldn't even yell at him. I couldn't. I was just so happy. It really, yeah, I didn't. I have not been that scared. I can't even remember when.
Yeah, that could be terrifying.
It was
about
a terrifying thing, but yeah. The joy, and I mean, I was crying as soon as he came back. My buddy's like, "Wow, I've never heard you speak with such happy emotion before." And then once I had him in my hands, I broke down and lost it. I was just so happy that he was back.
I bet. But yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
It's been a very emotional week for sure.
What'd you say? He was gone like 2 hours?
Yeah, 2.5, something like that. It was too long.
That's hilarious because these are animals, right? These are wild animals that we've managed to domesticate just not that terribly long ago. So, he's going to be, reasonably okay. I doubt he's going to have anything happen to him within 2 hours or probably even 8 hours. He's got plenty of time out there before it gets serious. But just that feeling of helplessness and not knowing is just enough to drive you absolutely insane. But I'm glad he's back home all right. That's good to hear.
Yeah, he's right by my side. Good boy, Hanker Panker.
Lots of good news this way. Speaking of good news, we have one Mr. Walter Johnson. Walt, I doubt you got a nap in today. I know you got a lot of stuff going on. How's your day going?
I am here, yes. Sorry, I'm still doing catching up here. Hi, everybody. And no naps. Just lots of stress and worry, but all to be a breath of sigh of relief. Everything has worked out. If you didn't know, my mom literally days ago found out she had colon cancer and had surgery just hours ago. Or was going through it over the last couple of hours. She is now out of surgery. Everything went as well as possible, what they expected, which was great already. The prognosis was great. Sorry, probably still getting catch up here. So let me turn this down. All right, right. But anyway, according to my brother who's there, he said everything's great. The doctors was all smiles when he came in, and he was all excited about it. So it's just the road to recovery. And this should actually help her start living a healthier life in the bigger scheme of things. So it couldn't have turned out better.
That's awesome. Glad to hear it. I know there's been lots of prayers and positive vibes headed her way and your way. So I'm
Yes, absolutely, everybody. And I thank you all so much. And I love you all so much for that. You just don't know. The support has been just heartening. And it's been rough knowing that was going on there and I'm over here. So I've had my support here. Thank you, baby. And and you guys and everybody out there, I love you all. Thank you all so much for the prayers.
Looks like there's lots of good positive vibes out there in chat too. So everybody loves you.
Yes, thank you all in chat. I love you all. And you all know I love you by name. I'm not going to start naming names right now. I'm still distracted. I'm getting text still. So I'll try to not be too distracted here with what all's going on. My apologies for being so distracted. We've had a big week. We've had a crazy amount of information go through the show over there on TFR over the last couple of days. Certainly excited for our guests that will be showing up here in a little while. We made it through the craziest of holidays, the craziest of evil days, whatever the hell you want to call it at this point in your life. But we'll get into some of that here in just a little while, some of what may or may not have gone on over these last few days.
The unholidays.
The unholy days, yes, sir.
Well, we are also joined this evening by the Adam Meakin. That Adam. Adam, how was your week?
It's been shit. If I'm being honest.
Sweet. Glad to hear it. All right.
Yeah, no. I'm poorly man again. That fucking sinus pain's come back again, mate. So I've just been pathetic, moaning, whinging, but I have been off work. And to be fair, I'm more than made up for your lack of naps today, Walt. I missed the show. I slept all afternoon. I had a blanket while I was listening to Nathan's show. So I've like always, mate. As in the realm, we step up for each other. So yeah, but yeah,
So
no.
you
Other
got
than
my
that,
slack, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
it's I say I've been looking forward all week to going to London Saturday. So I've not given up that hope yet, but I am feeling at the moment I'm not up for it. But
Damn, man, I'm sorry to hear that. We need to get some prayers on your nose, it sounds like. Goodness.
save all the praise for your man, pal. I'll be all right. Yeah, this. Keep it where it's needed. Yeah, and on that, yeah, all the love and out there to her, mate. And fingers crossed, your speedy recovery's on the way, mate.
Well, we need to get your face fixed too, Adam.
Yeah, my wife said that. Yeah, and so hopefully I'll butch it up enough and we'll get down and hopefully join the meeting tomorrow in London with our guest that we've got tonight, obviously, as I'll not start that until we've introduced.
We do. We have one last, but never the least. Plumber.
And certainly the most.
Our own little Mario, one Mr. John Savage. John.
Savage!
How you doing, John?
Savage! Well, I mean, my troubles pale in significance already. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I know you're not listening, but glad to hear that about your mum. But yeah, no, I've had a really good week actually, up until about 3 hours ago. I got all my plumbing done. Everything was in. I had the shower running. I had everything flushed through and up to pressure, and just had a little look at the cylinder, and there was a teeny tiny little pinhole leak out of one of the inputs into the cylinder. And I thought, okay, well, we'll tweak it up, as you do. And so I nipped it up as much as I could. Couldn't get the fucker moving for anything. I was getting bigger and bigger vices and grips and all sorts of crap on there. Tweaked it up a little. Didn't make any difference. Still leaking. So I thought, okay, I'll drain the system, take the thing off, and wrap it up properly with PTFE tape or Loctite 55, just to bore you. And yeah, so I started trying to undo it. And again, my spanners were getting bigger and bigger, and I was getting more and more huffy with it. And it started turning. So I had my big spanners on it, turning it a little bit. Got about halfway around, and just thought, this is not right. Something's not. It's not giving up on any friction whatsoever. So I pulled the load of the insulation back, and there's this copper pipe that I'm physically twisting into a spiral.
No.
Yeah, and it's one of the main inputs into the coil in this thermal store jiggery pokery voodoo shit. So yeah, basically 6 months of planning, plumbing, and everything has gone down the shitter, and I'm looking at probably having to buy a 1,400 quid thermal store brand new and put it all back together again. So yeah,
John, you reminded me of my dad now, right? Because often we get a tale of that convoluted when basically all he needed to say was come in and go, I fucked it. But
no, I have to explain.
I've smacked it too hard and I've sheared a bit off.
Luckily, it was a second-hand eBay job, and it was only something 300 quid. That's still quite a fair bit, but it's just all the other planning. Everything has been planned around this heart of the system, and now it's got to be ripped out and start all over again. So, yeah, I'm feeling strangely calm. I should be hitting things with hammers and kicking the dog, but I couldn't do that anyway. So, yeah, there we go. That's been my last 3 hours. Apart from that, the week's been great.
Well, good.
Well, I'm proud of your patience, John.
No kidding.
Well done.
The dog thanks you too.
It could snap at any time, though. My patience. Just to warn you. That's not me beating up the room, by the way. I don't know who's making that noise. Anyway, best we get on with the show, isn't it?
I suppose we should. I've been a little bit behind the 8 ball ever since I woke up this morning. Things are just really screwy this morning for the show. I got in there a little bit late. Oh, the show I'm referring to is the Ironworks over there on Truth Frequency Radio every Tuesday and Friday morning at 4 a.m. Central to 6 a.m.
I started laughing this morning straight away when I thought, oh no, we've got the usual technical gremlins, right? And it weren't. You just pissed off for a cup of coffee, didn't you? Because you couldn't cope until you had a coffee in your hand.
It was such a goof all morning. Well, okay, so mea culpa, I did get up a little bit late. Usually I'm up at 3. The second time I opened my eyes, it was like 3:34. So I jumped about 3 feet off my mattress and flew out the bedroom as best I could because I have to sort of get ready for work while I'm doing the show. So I'm getting lunch ready and getting dressed and all my incidentals ready for work. And so I'm up and down the stairs, in and out of the studio. It was just a crazy morning because my laptop wasn't working. It was full. Skype wouldn't open. Soundboard wouldn't open. I had to do everything from the desktop, which is not necessarily routed for calls that away, but we made it work. Yeah, it was a goofy morning all around, but we made it. Survived another day of work, no issues. Still just building stuff. Let's see. Halloween was uneventful as always. We turn our porch light out. Those little bastards. We gave them
exactly what I did.
Well, they had a chance like 3 or 4 years ago. We bought a big old bowl full of candy and left the porch light on for them. And not one of those little ankle biters bothered to show up, knock on the door, nothing. So we sat up there out in the front room all night long, waiting specifically for trick-or-treaters, and nobody showed up. So that was their one chance. And we have not participated in a Halloween since. F them.
Were you waiting for trick-or-treaters with an air rifle in the front window? Or
Nope, a big bowl of candy.
No,
So
I
here-
turn the lights out and go sit in the shed. I just take the night off.
So
I
I
was-
heard this is a local thing here, but do you guys ever remember hearing about or participate in this thing where part of the trick or treat experience involves joke telling? Has anybody heard any of that? So you go up, you ring the bell, trick or treat,
No.
and then they they expect a joke.
No.
No, I guess that is only a St. Louis thing. All right then, never mind.
We wouldn't bother asking them for a treat. We'd just trick them and snap, what were that, stink bombs through the letterbox.
I was never
shit.
never a fan of Halloween. I don't know about you, John. We never did Halloween as kids, but since I've had kids, I enjoy Halloween more than Bonfire Night. So that's what tonight's logo is I did it for Walt this evening. I asked Leo what Pokemon carve into the pumpkin this year. It's been Star Wars every other year. But yeah, that was a treat for Walt this year for his Poke hunting, a Gengar pumpkin. But,
Yes,
quite
you did.
like that.
Thank you, friend.
It's interesting you say that, Adam, because when I was a kid, and we're the same sort of age, Halloween was nothing. I mean, it snuck up on you. It was nothing at all, and then it was gone. And I never did any dressing up, or rarely did anything other than stink bombs through the letterbox of the guys across the road because they were idiots. But now it's like Christmas. They're prepping you for Halloween 3 weeks before Halloween. All the shops are full of it, and it's an Americanism thing. And I'm sure it would quite happily tie back to some sort of nefarious reasons
Well, I
why
thought
this has been brought to the forefront.
Well, from my personal experience growing up, I guess because my mom would wake me up as a kid on school nights to watch horror movies with her. So maybe that's why Halloween was such a big deal in my family. We dressed up. We did the whole, I mean, it was a big deal. Now, that being said, it wasn't 3 months of Halloween like it is now with all the stores having it out. Like I said, it starts in July, just about getting ready for October. So it's definitely become more of a push for it, more of a commercialization. But I'm like you. I think there's a nefarious reason why it has become such a thing here in the States, for sure, anyway.
Well, it's like Easter never used to be anything over here either, but now we go from Halloween, that's over, you go into Christmas, that's pummeled into your head for 3 months or 2 months, then it's straight after Christmas, it's Easter. And I mean, that does have a 3-month run up to it. It's mental. Well, who's posting pictures?
that's me. Have I been naughty?
I've got a picture for you.
Well, I was just going to post a picture of me
Nice.
and my son. I'll change the screen so I can share it. But I mean, there is a serious point. I mean, I think there is a dilution of reaction to these things. He didn't moan too much. But it's fun, isn't it? And it's designed and twisted to be fun. But I think there is a point which is an attempt for normalization of concepts, and it's a lot easier to normalize something if Satan worship and thing is celebrated once a year. I saw something the other day about kids' cartoon where there was the battle between Teen Titans, it was, and the Teen Titan heroes were helping the spirit of Halloween to stop Santa taking the last bag of goodies so that he could dominate all the holidays. It's a right tangent. I don't know where I went there. Sorry. But there's certainly been an uptake, I think, to build this date up into the consciousness, the psyche, and something, and it's a lot more noticeable in the UK, I think, we've attested to there than it would be in the States. You're probably seeing more of a commercial side. We've got that, but actually as an event, you know, I would say my kids look forward to it more than. I mean, seriously, right? How fucked up is the world, right? If worshipping spirits and evil demons, right, is being promoted above burning Catholics. What is fucking wrong with the world? Get back to good, honest Catholic burning.
Right, we got to have some priorities, man. Damn it. Well, I saw your costume and raised you 2 more there in the picture I sent. That's me and my son a few years back. I guess probably 2000 or so. Zombification.
Since you were talking about twisted things, I thought I'd post a picture of my twisted pipe.
Pipe. Your plumber porn, as you say.
Oh, my plumber porn, yeah.
Oh, look, that's filth, Savage. That's filth.
Change the contrast a little bit.
You properly fucked that, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's got anger in that, as. That's a twist of anger, that. Fucking thing!
I can't imagine what I would have done if I was angry.
I think that's salvageable, man. I reckon that's salvageable.
I'm hoping. I'm racking my brains.
You know what I'd do? I'd bore it out. I'd bore the whole thing out and fit another washer, a bolted washer either side of it. Start again. Even with a. I mean, I'm just saying, but you can bend a pipe. Anyway, not plumbing now.
Let's talk about the physics involved.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough for twisted pipe work.
That's not too bad. Well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, 20 minutes in, just to get the intros out of the way. That's not too bad, I guess, really. I guess we should point out that we might try to do things a little bit differently tonight. Have we decided if we're going to try to take an intermission, or we're just going to do a regular break?
If we're going to try it, if there's any night to try it, it's a night like this where we're already off the rails from the get-go. We're an hour late to start. I mean, why not?
You're the daddy, Josh. You're the daddy. You lead. We'll follow.
In our area, we're an hour late to start.
Oh yes, but we showed amazing technicality there by starting still at 10:30 GMT. I thought anyway.
Impressive. I'm impressed. I was convinced all day we had done it wrong. So
yeah. Well done, boys. Cheers.
All fell out right. Cheers to it. Well, before we leave the topic of Halloween, I guess we should wrap this up with the story we talked about this morning on TFR. Are y'all ready for that? Or
yeah.
You want to save that for?
This is sick as fuck.
Well, I don't want everybody to tune out is my issue with this.
Well, we got Roxanne coming. We got Harry coming. We got Jason coming. We got lots of people coming to talk. I think there's going to be lots of cool stuff, lots of cool updates. So hopefully they'll stick around for that. This is interesting information, and I'm sure it ties into a lot of people's research. So hopefully they'll stick around if their stomachs can handle it.
Well, just a little bit of a forewarning. When I found this video from a person that a person I follow on Twitter and I subscribe to here on YouTube, James Munder, it really affected me greatly. It felt like a stomach punch to me. And I really hate bringing that kind of stuff to people because I'm not here for the shock or if we were going to be that kind of show, we'd have done it a long time ago and probably have a lot more ratings. So that's not what we're here for. Obviously not to have the fear porn or the terrifying images or any of that crap.
Oh, there was a reason, Walt. You guys covered it this morning, and I asked because I'm not in this celebrity world where I might be exposed to that, but I was disgusted, shocked, and even now, I'm not. I don't get it. Is it real? But anyway, yeah. So it was it was also a big question of mine because if you're not into necessarily that kind of stuff, it is unbelievable. If I'm being honest. Sorry.
Well, I guess the research I've done over the last 3 years in many different rabbit holes and seeing a lot of different things. And I'm never a person to see one story, one video, read one book, and I'm done with my research on it. And I'm figured out all the answers from that one thing. I'm going to go in many different directions. And I'm always more impressed with information that seems to tie stuff together in a very roundabout, unrelated way. To me, that's more verifiable than something that's just blatant and in your face. Hang on one second. Sorry. Side note here. Anyway,
I've no idea what you're talking about. Just to let you know.
I understand.
Wait for it.
Understand. Well, there's a lot of speculation that the time of year that we just have gone through, as Adam alluded to earlier, celebrates a lot of satanic things. That is definitely part of it. I think a lot of it is the old pagan traditions that have been around forever, that have been carried over. Man, I'm really trying to avoid this story hard. All right, let's just get down to brass tacks. Apparently, and this is again, apparently, from the video I watched, the story I read, and the website that you yourself can go visit, there is a place in Los Angeles that apparently hosts events, parties. You can dine there, and they serve human flesh, long pig, whatever you want to call it. But that is on the menu. The staff of the place pride themselves over the fact that, well, Elspeth Blake, the proprietor, earned her wings in New York's theater district, working directly under famed restaurateur Vincent Sardi Jr. She moved to LA in '97, where she gathered the talent and investment capital to open the Cannibal Club in 2007. So that's the lady who started the place. On their homepage, which I will drop a link to here in a little while.
I've got it up on screen.
Do you have it? Okay.
Yeah,
well, let me go to what you're looking at.
I'm on the homepage as well. So
let me go to where you are and see what you have. So I'll be reading along with you. Uh-oh, I'm not seeing it. Maybe I'm in the wrong.
I'll share screen with. I'll share screen. That'll cop to me actually, but.
No, that's good. If it's on YouTube, that's fine.
I'm on the homepage of the website.
The homepage. Okay.
I'll go to the.
Well, as you are probably seeing there on the homepage, let me pause it because I've gone to the YouTube channel and it started playing. My goodness. And I hear myself. Look, oh God, how do you stand me all week? Okay, so on their homepage, it says, specializing in the preparation of human meat, Cannibal Club brings the cutting edge of experimental cuisine to the refined palates of LA's cultural elite. Our master chefs hail from around the world for the opportunity to practice their craft, free of compromise and unbounded by convention. Our exclusive clientele includes noted filmmakers, intellectuals, and celebrities who have embraced the Enlightenment ideals of free expression and rationalism. On event nights, avant-garde performance artists, celebrated literary figures, and groundbreaking musicians entertain our guests. At Cannibal Club, we celebrate artistic excellence as the natural and inevitable expression of the unbridled human spirit. And at the top of the page, there's a quote by Henry Miller, whenever a taboo is broken, something good happens, something vitalizing. All right, everybody, buckle
down. Get your gag button on.
Let's go to the cuisine page. Collaborating with visiting cooks from around the world, Chef de Cuisine Sophie Lafitte regularly updates our menu with new and daring culinary experiments. The meat we serve is selected from the young and healthy. Yes, I'll read that to you again. The meat we serve is selected from the young and healthy. Consistent with the practice of cannibalism in many primitive societies, we view anthropophagy as homage to the dead, who are reborn into the bodies of their consumers. Each dish, therefore, is a study in taste and excellent. This week's menu includes penne pasta with meat sauce. A delicious meat sauce made from fresh heirloom tomatoes served over multigrain penne noodles. A sirloin steak, flame broiled, 8-ounce, seasoned with fresh garlic, sauteed onions, and our in-house Worcestershire sauce. Liver and mushroom pierogi.
Worcestershire.
Yeah. Worcestershire.
Not that would make it taste any better, but that's.
What's this here sauce?
Yeah, but penne pasta for
the
God's
dirty
sake.
bastards.
It's multi-grain, John. It holds the sauce better.
How to murder a dish. Sorry.
Liver and mushroom pierogi, which is a Russian version of pierogies, baked rather than boiled with a savory filling of wild mushroom and liver. Placenta lasagna.
I don't mind that one so much.
An otherwise traditional lasagna with one layer of cheese substituted by minced placenta in heirloom tomato sauce, seasoned with garlic, onion, and oregano.
Surely they have haggis on the
And
menu.
Mrs. Lovett's meat pies, a delectable pot pie, and a genuine puff pastry crust with locally grown vegetables and tender strips of young and healthy meat. What brought all this to light is apparently a document leaked from this establishment showing Anderson Cooper, Meryl Streep, Chelsea Clinton, and Katy Perry as members of this club. And that's kind of what stirred this all up and got it out as a story, which I can send a link to as well. But it basically is just covering the same shit I'm sitting here covering with you. Right now, if you're interested in the performances, the artistic expression that actually is on tap for you there at the Cannibal Club, can you share that to everybody, Adam? The little video there on the events page, a lady named Diamanda Galas, a famed avant-garde performance artist, composer, keyboardist, and vocalist. She's been described as capable of the most unnerving vocal terror. Musicologist Susan McClary writes that Galas heralds a new movement in the history of musical representation. Focusing on themes of suffering, injustice, and despair, her works are characterized by visceral shrieks and wails reminiscent of glossiolalia, or tongues. She has collaborated with Led Zeppelin bassist John Paul Jones, and her works appeared in such mainstream films as Natural Born Killers and Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. This month, Galas is performing at Cannibal Club on Friday and Saturday nights.
I have absolutely no doubt this sort of shit goes on in underground clubs all over the world, but this has to be a hoax.
That's what I said. Just coming from the food service background, having worked in the food service industry, I can't imagine anywhere is going to allow this.
Well, I checked on Snopes this afternoon, and they said it's definitely false, so I feel better.
The double bluff. Yeah, Snopes. But has anyone heard of Schmeat? Which is sheets of meat, which is meat that is like it's 100% beef or whatever, but it's not grown on a cow. And it's probably the reason why a certain large food chain can claim that their meat is 100% beef. But what if they were doing the same with human flesh, cloning it, i.e. not growing it on humans, but still
they actually
lab
addressed
made?
That somewhere here on the frequently asked questions. Where do you get your specialty meat? Our avenues of procurement vary. Most of the businesses and institutions who supply us prefer to keep those relationships discreet. On the individual level, bodies are often bequeathed to us. For some, this is a way to supplement life insurance and offset funerary expenses. For others, such as the Cannibal Club,
young, healthy meat is bequeathed to them. How often?
Right.
Yeah, that's the point I was going to make, guys. Is the the contradiction within that website. Is this it's coming from here because it's people giving it, but then it's young healthy meat, and whether it's a hoax as some kind of emotional kind of like psyop, societal reaction test to it, or whether it is actually as filthy and depraved as you first think, I don't know. But
well, I'll tell you what, Adam,
it's full of contradiction, and that bit doesn't make sense.
You know,
and if it was a hoax, you'd make it plausible.
You know those photos that came out with Clinton and her weird friend. They had bodies on tables and things like this, and fingers with turkey doilies on. And do you know the photos I'm talking about?
See, this is where I would thought it was too. I thought they just took this spirit cooking.
Yeah, spirit cooking. I think this is a place for the people who raise spirit cooking. Mm-hmm. They point to these possibly authentic photos, and anyone on the receiving end who's read this sort of thing just goes, yeah, it's been going on for ages, or that was a hoax. This will come out as a hoax in a couple of weeks' time when someone gets irate enough to call the police and say what the hell's this all about, and people can then just say, well, that was shown to be a hoax. It's as a cover story sort of thing.
What if it's just actual food, actual real beef, pork, chicken, fish, but it's just done in the spirit cooking? So it's an actual restaurant, and this is just a gimmick. This is a ploy. This is a way to start drumming up business. It's a new restaurant they're just opening. We're going to put out this whole cannibal club thing and get these people thinking that it's real, and it's just going to be this whole goofball thing.
I think that's exactly what it is. But I think it is a cover and a veil for what is actually going on in
that's exactly
underground society.
Right. Trying to, like, maybe somebody wrote this story or whatever to raise everybody's awareness of what the fuck is really going on. Because unfortunately, I've done some digging down some really dark wells on the dark web when I was doing some investigation onto the ideas of, well, I don't want to derail the whole show into a whole different topic. Let's just say that I have no doubt this does go on, and I have no doubt that the Clintons are heavily immersed in it. We did that story where a doctor looked at her tongue during the run up to the election, and said that from what he saw of her tongue, she definitely has the disease you get from eating the brains of people as a cannibal. I can't remember the name of it, Prions disease or something like that.
I don't remember, what the disease was, but I do remember the story.
Something prion. I think it's prion. I'll have to look.
Prion muncher's disease. Turns you into a ball head.
Crayon muncher disease.
Yeah, that's what you get.
Right. I get the feeling
we've got guests.
Get very sick.
Yeah, let's move on. That's enough Halloween.
Moving on.
But I think there's something. I don't know. Let's move on. Guys, welcome. Hello.
Hi, Adam.
So
can you hear us?
Oh yes, coming in loud and clear.
Oh.
And since Adam has had the pleasure of actually meeting you in person, I will allow him to do the introductions. So I'll put you right there on the spot, Adam. Ha ha.
Ha ha. And I've not had any lessons. So yes, I have actually had the pleasure of meeting all four of the guys. 3 of them last week in Nottingham, and that's Roxanne, Jason at the top there. I've got it lined up on that webpage. And then at the bottom there's Harry, John Smith Glowlight, and of course there's Dave, my mate who I met at the conference. Yes, bro. Yes, down in Brum, and he's been active as well on the tour. And I think Harry, you're crashing there tonight, aren't you? So when we found that out, we said get Dave in as well. It'd be great to have him on the show. So welcome to you all.
Cool. Thanks for having us on.
Oh, it's our pleasure. We love a full house.
Rand.
We've definitely got a full house because we've also got Robin Campbell with us as well, who's lived in the lids. He's with us as well, and he's part of the team as well. That's Robin there as well.
Hi, Rob.
In my corner, I think. I don't know what corner he's in for everybody else.
Very instrumental.
Let's join the tour for a couple of days and come out on the street with us.
Hi, Robin.
Hi, Adam. Hi.
We've chatted on a bit of
Good to meet you.
Bit of Samfu chat and via email. So nice to say hello in his person-ish.
Likewise.
Yeah, hi Robin, John Savage here. Hi Jason, Roxanne, Harry, Dave. I don't think we've ever had this many people on. It's going to be really interesting.
And in the background, guys, we've got, you won't see, linked through, like I said, Josh's soundboard there. We've got Zach in the background somewhere. You there, Zach?
Yeah, it's wonderful to meet y'all. Thank y'all for joining us. I think what you're doing is just amazing, and it's I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I don't have words for it. What you guys are doing it was needed, to say the least.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that somebody took the reins and, was doing a proper tour.
Raised the bar. They raised the bar, these guys did.
So much.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, kudos to you, because I couldn't do it. The public thing, I just couldn't do it. But I've been watching some of your videos, and they're just amazing. I couldn't do it because I'd expect people to come up and beat the hell out of me. But that's
you've not
just
seen how
not
big
the reaction,
Harry is.
What a big lad, Harry.
It's just not the reaction. I mean, watching Glastonbury yesterday, I think it was, or today, it was just easily over half of them were already flat earthers or interested in flat earth. I was really amazed at that.
Glastonbury is a very liberal, open-minded, spiritual place. So there's a lot of truthers already there, who are halfway there at least, and even flat earthers. So I was really impressed by it and the open-mindedness in Glastonbury.
Yeah.
To go back, definitely.
I want to say hey to Jason and Harry. It's good to talk to you guys again. And hello, Robin. And hello. I'm so terrible with saying hey to people, and I will forget. So I want to say hello. And then I'm going to turn my camera off to save some of the band. Oh, and hello, Roxanne. My apologies. Hello, Roxanne. I see you. I see you on the corner over there. I see you. So hello, and I'm going to turn my camera off. You'll see my little icon. It's Flat Earth Head. That's what I am on social media. So we're so glad to have you guys here, but I'll be off camera for a while now.
Okay.
All right, darling.
Well, I think because we've got so many folks here tonight, I think it's going to need a bit of structure. We're not used to it, really. This many.
It's a flash mob.
Yeah, if you're going to start dancing, Robin, I'm up for it. Go.
That would be a flat mob, wouldn't
it? Flat smack mob.
If I can get as pissed as this, I'll definitely be here tomorrow, Jason. What I'm thinking. If I could just... I might have to get the train. Get on the wine. Come down. Oh, you've pepped me up, guys. It's... Actually, the first question I've got is kind of relates what Zach kind of thank you for. And I think probably start with Harry, really. But when you set out on this journey or started planning it, did you think you'd affect in as positive a way so many people, not just in the UK, but around the plane? I nearly slipped.
Old habits die hard.
Yeah. Because guys, what you've achieved is, I think it's the conferences have been one thing, and that was for us flat earthers. It's fantastic. I heard that on Nathan's show today. Conferences are for us, but what you guys have done and inspired us is to take it out there, and to have the balls to take it out there. And I think you have affected a hell of a lot of people. Certainly when I was in Nottingham, you did. And do you think, well, what impact do you think you've had? And is it as big as you thought, or bigger, better, whatever? Stop rambling.
Yeah, I actually thought it would be that big in the UK, but I never thought for a minute that it would have that large effect on a more macro scale. I was hoping it would affect on a micro scale in the UK, because that van, you can't ignore it, and it's travelling the full length of Britain. And even when it's parked, when we're doing activism, people are seeing it every minute. And as we all witness, there's a camera on it almost all the time. People walk past to take the phones out, and they're continually photographing it. And with all the street activism and the crowds, I had expected we'd be having a big impact, but not. I was almost going to use the word global there, but not on the massive scale. More in the UK. So I was really pleasantly surprised to see the interest created.
The comments, yeah.
And the comments, yeah, the feedback coming back from far afield in different countries. It's been awe-inspiring reading the feedback.
Yeah.
Have you been approached by the press at all, like local press or anything?
Well, it's more to do with the team as a whole, being proactive on that line by contacting all the press, and one or two, 3 or 4 of them have shown interest, but a lot of it's fallen on deaf ears as well. So I suppose it's a numbers game. Yeah.
Robin, can I put the question to you for a sec? That because you're the guy that's kind of done a lot of the graft in the background and not had the fun and the meeting and that. And maybe Roxanne or somebody could just maybe explain, because I know he won't do himself justice. Maybe somebody else could explain what Robin's done.
Wow, where do I start, Jason, Harry? It'd probably be easier for us to say what Robin hasn't done. Okay.
Nice.
The only thing I can see Robin hasn't done is been making everybody cups of tea and making everybody sandwiches and delivering them off. Other than that, he's done everything else behind the scenes. Harry, what would you say to that? He's been the instrumental, pivotal point in this talk.
If it wasn't for Robin, the trip wouldn't have continued, and it wouldn't be a success it is. But I'd have to say that
and Braun, we would have been
the team, but especially Robin, what he's put into it has been phenomenal, both financially and both with his time. And he's already a busy man, so the help and support he's given to the tour and publicised it and worked it has been amazing. Yeah, thanks, Rob.
You're welcome, guys. No, it's been an absolute joy. I've been sat there reviewing each day, as Roxanne has as well. And when you're doing family things, you kind of find yourself needing to do it at work, or whilst you're cooking, or whilst you're cutting the lawn, or taking the kids somewhere. So you've got an earphone in, and you're thinking, "That's a great section. I'm going to use that one." So I sit and review the content for Roxanne sometimes, because she gets busy, to be able to be ready on time for a hangout later. But what's great is when you're doing that, you're also, you're digesting this content really deeply, and you're also getting to a place where you can say, there's a cracking highlight, there's an example of this. And we always sat down at the beginning and said, what we want to show the press is a 5 to 10 or a show reel, 10-minute show reel of highlights. So as time goes on, I've been building up this highlights, which is now just part of me. And I think sitting in the chat rooms whilst I'm watching and chatting away to all these wonderful people who are in there, you're really feeling the temperature of everyone participating. And it wasn't long. It took I think it was about 2 weeks when we suddenly saw the likes of Chris UK and Terry joining, and then Mark, and then others just leaping on board, John Thor. Because everyone knew that Harry needed some help and Jason needed a substitute for a little while. So it was that sort of snowball effect of people just lobbing their efforts in, which has impressed on me hugely. And I think it was about week 3 we decided, let's call this the People's Tour, because we just saw that was definitely what was happening. It was becoming way bigger than the seedling of that idea. And you know, you've asked me what I've done. I've done a lot of watching. I've done a few practical things like book the school and clip a few videos every now and then. But it's been an absolute joy, you know. And boy, I loved going to Bristol and Bath. They were like high octane days, weren't they, guys?
You're like a child sweet shop, Robert.
Yeah, I couldn't wait. I just couldn't wait because I'd had a few little practice runs, one with you in Weston and a few on my own in the park. But to get out there and like take on people in my own town, I could have literally bumped into anyone I know. And
that's brave, my friend. That is a very brave thing to do. I live in a very small town, and I'm very reluctant to go out and about here. So yes, I salute that.
It is good. It is good, Robin. Me and Rox. It took me towards the end of the day in Nottingham, but at the end of the day, me and Roxanne ended up with a right old troll, didn't we? And I kind of got a taste for it, man.
do you know the one thing?
I know, me too.
The one thing that I really kind of struck me was, yes, I'd had a few practice runs in a little park, which was strategically 3 miles away from my home because I was a bit chicken in the early days. I didn't fancy bumping into anyone where I walk my dog locally, so I thought I'd walk the dog 3 miles down the road, and then I'm out off patch, you know. What happened was, though, because I lay my banner down in that park and people come and go, I thought, well, I must be having a small effect on this little community called St. George. Anyhow, I'm in Bristol, and I think it was Sean Wilkins who said, there's a lady who's just come round to the stand who recognises you from St. George's Park. I said, oh, why didn't she come over? She said, oh, she doesn't want to talk to you. She's a scientist and she knows you from the park. and I just thought, isn't that incredible? A city of 600,000 people, and this one woman has managed to walk past me in the 3-hour time slot on a Wednesday or a Tuesday afternoon. I thought that was quite interesting because none of that's online. Or it could be, I suppose. She could have been one of the 300 people that's watched my video, but the word's getting out, you know.
And we mustn't forget that we had one of the toughest challenges that we've had on this whole tour was Bath, and Robin was there on the front line with us. And it was difficult, this place, Bath. I thought Cambridge was difficult, but I really struggled at Bath, being in myself. And Robin expertly is handling his corner, you know, like of the pitch that we've taken. It was a pleasure to see us all doing quite kind of well, considering the circumstances, because this is an very educated. Is it a city town?
It's a city, because it's got a cathedral. Yeah, it's a city.
Right.
Yeah.
It was. We did well. We handled that one pretty well, and we couldn't have done it. We had we had Nora with us as well from Ireland. She flew over from Ireland.
Sean, Marilyn, and Lisa.
Oh,
all helps.
Guys, while can I interrupt just for a sec whilst you've mentioned Nora there? You've got the event tomorrow, but I know that the special thing, kind of a bad bit of scheduling has led to quite a decent bonus, I think, hasn't it? Because Paul on the plane's flying over on his annual pilgrimage to the Green Isle deer for himself, and he's meeting up with Nora, and I think Mark Doxey is another one, and they're going to live stream with you guys, and maybe you guys could just, whilst we're on that, just fill in and about that, and then on what you've also got organised for tomorrow.
Robin, do you wanna do that?
Yeah, by all means. Yeah. So the format of tomorrow is about 2/3 of the way through. We're going to open up an international live link up. And so Roxanne's scheduled several international people to either be online or to have sent their well wishes. But at 5:40 our time, Paul on the plane and Nora and Mark will be connecting through Roxanne's Hangout, which we will stream, and we will have going as part of the event and displayed on the the school's drop-down projector screen with our guests of, let's hope we have 50 people tomorrow. It could easily be more. We don't know. We haven't got a ticketing system.
Oh my God, Robin, do you charge by the hour, man? I'm serious. We need somebody like you in our life so much. Oh my goodness, the organization I'm hearing here. Oh, I'm impressed.
No, so those guys are going to just beam into the UK and give us their thoughts, and they'll be able to do some one-to-one with us many-to-many with us, and that's their first Irish meetup. So I'd be thrilled to be part of that and give them a little bit of across the Irish Sea love, and make our connections that way. So that's how it goes.
Yeah, that really pretty much encompasses it. It's going to be from 4 to 7 p.m. It'll be at Villiers High School, which is on Boyd Avenue in Southall, postcode UB13BT. And as Robin said, it's a free to attend event. And we basically just want to celebrate the fact that 8 weeks, 53 locations, and a massive wave of awareness has been started that the internet can't censor. You can't censor it. It's happened. I've had a good couple of occasions with myself personally, John Thor, Lisa, that's been out with you, has said off the back of these banners and mass activism going on the street, whole establishments, food establishments are talking about it. That doesn't happen from a viral video or a viral Facebook post. That happens from going out and having mass human interaction. That's how you get a whole establishment talking about something, and word of mouth is key because it can't be censored.
And then afterwards, we'll have the Villiers High School establishment that'll be talking about us for the next few months as well, which is to look forward to.
Can't wait. I've described the event to the lettings manager as a science and philosophy group, and the subject of the meeting is the heliocentric model. So we should give them a surprise as a little bit of a twist, but I'm sure they'll enjoy it.
There was something you said to me, Roxanne, and you kind of repeated it there a little bit when we met, and that was talking about the internet and the likes, and I think that it kind of reflected the energy that was there on the streets. They can actually affect the internet. They can censor us, they can dumb us down, they can do what they're doing in terms of shadow banning and the likes. But what they can't do, if we've got the balls to stand up and first of all be laughed at, but then actually go and do what Robin's done and what I'm getting a taste for. And it's not a scary, guys. Once you've done it once, it's good, man. But what they can't do is censor those streets. They can't stop us going out there and talking to our fellow human beings. They'll never be able to stop that. Or we're fucked if they can.
Perfectly put. The minute we can't do that is the minute that we know we're in serious strife. The minute that we're prevented from doing something like that is the minute we know that we've either won the battle and lost the war, or we didn't fight hard enough in the battle in the first place. And if we're in those times now where we're fighting against censorship, copyright laws, and the rest of it, we can see that from every avenue, they're closing in on us as human beings to speak freely about things. So the faster that we can get, Marilyn's spirit level, she said it perfectly the other day, the only way this is going to work is if everyone who knows they're not on the ball gets out there and starts talking in public about it and putting their hand up and going, I'm here. I'm standing up and being counted. I know that I've been questioning what I've been taught, and I know it's not true. You don't necessarily have to have a working model. We just all need to understand that we're having a conversation based on the fact that we've looked into what we've been taught and we've seen that we're not living on what we've been taught we're living on.
Yeah, right. In terms of logistics, I'm quite interested in this, but how do you have to tell the city that you're going to, or the town or whatever, what's going on? I mean, anyone else who wants to do this, what's the etiquette without getting arrested?
There's meant to be lots of towns have their policies in place, the town council policies, which I found that it's mostly more about they don't like you giving out your leaflets and having banners on the floor in a dangerous position or something. You know, that seems to be the in thing. Now, in my own hometown, it's a straight £100 fine for giving out leaflets. I think was it Oxford, Harry?
Yeah.
They what was it? They're trying to give us an £80 fine if we don't, you know, like, what's it, get all our leaflets and banners up. Yeah. So, you know, like, now, normally, you know, like me, I would just tell them to, you know, like, get lost and go and get the police, you know, whatever you want to do. You know, that's kind of, but because that the tour means a little bit more, you know, like, you've got to be a little bit more diplomatic with people, and so we just kind of do what they say. I think it almost depends if it's late in the day. If we've almost finished, then we probably will say on your bike, you know, whatever. But
what's the problem with leaflets?
Well, I think it's because that they might assume that we're making money from it. You know, it's business. You know, we're making business from it, and they want a piece of that. You know, but yeah, it's nonsense. It is. I mean, like, so a lot of these councils do have policies, but even their own enforcement officers and that, you know, like, they don't even know what their own policies are. You know, if you challenge them on it. So, yeah, you're meant to approach the councils, you know, if they've got policies in place, but I don't think we ever have.
No,
Harry
and I got done in Kingston. We got shut down in Kingston. Do you remember towards the end, those guys came up to us in Kingston and they were like, no, you've got to apply through the council. And we had people literally around the corner that didn't have to, and they were there just promoting religious stuff, and they didn't have to apply for what we were getting told to apply for. And we kind of just milked it a little bit, and we just kind of didn't pack up the banner quickly, and we just got those last few. And do you remember that, Harry? We just kind of out for as long as we could.
I think the same thing happened in Thurso at the tip of Scotland, where a member of the council came out and said to take the bandits down. And a friend who was with us said, well, where else can we put them? Nowhere. Get out of town.
Yeah.
We were ordered to get out of town by an official the council, but when the police came along, the police actually said to the people in the council that we've got every right to have free expression as long as we're not inciting any trouble. So
yeah, damn right.
There was a question I was going to ask there, Jason, and it comes from two things: a your response there in terms of the council officials, and secondary your title in terms of YouTube and Twitter and that, which is Jason of the Family Didsbury. So I assume you're well versed in common law, and maybe that's.
I'm certainly not. It was my entry into Flat Earth. I literally just started on my road with Straw Man and Free Man.
Okay.
And of course, as the second I was starting on that road, I kind of stumbled across. So I hadn't finished all my learning on this side. So I literally just started, and then I fell into Dave, allegedly Dave. I fell into his oh god, what was it? The foreign TV film. What's the documentary?
Macedonian.
Yeah, the Macedonian one, of course. I fell into that one, and which that's when I thought, oh, this is all nonsense. So it was all very kind of brand new to me. I think I was only into about 3 weeks of my learning about Freeman and Strawman and things. You know, like I hadn't, and then because I started Flat Earth, and I thought, well, let's go and get myself a YouTube channel, and then Jason of the Didsbury family started.
Oh, that's a good connection. I think John was before Flat Earth started for even allegedly Dave. John was, I think, YouTube or interneting with him in terms in the common law movement. They were doing that right.
Yeah.
Can I just say something on that?
I was going to say this man here is well versed in common law and the free man.
I've been studying that quite a bit actually, and I've actually, gone ahead with my newborn son. He's 18 months old now. He doesn't have a birth certificate. I told the state they could go away. I explained exactly why he wasn't going to have a birth certificate, but he does now have a passport, which is what everybody told me he wouldn't be able to have without a birth certificate. So I just want to lay it down to people, and I'm going to talk about this more. My wife and I are going to talk about this more on my channel about how we went about writing the letters, because it's all above board. They wrote back. We wrote another letter, and then when it came to the passport, we had to provide them with a few bits of information. So long as we had that stuff like proof of birth, a live birth, and so on, we were kind of set to go. They wrote one more letter, and we counted that, and the passport came. So and I've had other successes and other things to do with the common law. I recently had an incursion with the police in my house. I told them that I didn't stand under their authority, so they put me in handcuffs and banged me in the cell anyway. But the point is that we do have a lot more power, and we are learning a lot. That's my story on that.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you mentioned that. That's I've been following along on your video logs or whatever on the whole police encounters and getting your offspring a passport. I thought that was really, really interesting.
How did you validate that, Dave? Is it like a family Bible thing? You wrote the birth in the. How did you documentize it for their satisfaction? Your son's existence in terms of, because obviously a birthing certificate is one thing, but
my wife and I, it's a while now. It's about a year since we did that part of it. Actually, we had just so people know, we had the appointment set. My wife had gone ahead and made an appointment for the registration of his birth, and the appointment was for 10 o'clock in the morning. And 9 o'clock, I phoned him up and said, "We ain't coming." And I finally managed to talk my wife into taking this action. But one of the things we had to do was we had to with a wet ink put our thumbprint and sign through it that we were verifying this birth. We had the doctor's verification of live birth, and there was one other thing, but that was all we needed. There was no.
It's funny how they recognize the wet ink thing when they're demanding it. Yeah. When we demand it, it's no, you don't need that.
Yeah, I didn't get that on the warrant that came through my door the other day with 8 policemen attached to it.
Exactly.
Attached with a piece of paper. I said, I don't recognize that piece of paper.
But I'll tell you what, what you've done there is, not having a birth certificate and registering a passport is nothing to be sniffed at all. I mean, I know what's involved in doing that, and above all, it takes kahunas to do it, and you've clearly shown you've got that. But it also shows that it's not mandatory. None of us have to do it, and the whole not registering a birth, they hate that. They really hate that. Yes. So kudos to you, mate. Especially, at the worst case scenario, you could lose your child, as flat earthers have lost their children in custody, in not custody battles, in social services battles and things like that. You're a hugely brave man, bro, way braver than me.
Well, we let them come into the house today, actually, the social services, and she started asking me questions about, my cannabis, and I had to call it short on that because I was like, I didn't want you here, but my wife wanted to hear you here, and I thought if I let you in, it's only simply to prove that this house is a really warm and loving place for this child, because that can be your only point of concern. The police had no concern over me as a person or my smoking of cannabis or anything like that. And, we live in a crazy world in which this, moral dilemma exists where the government can grow its own cannabis and sell it on the world market as medicine, but will give you a whole raft of shit for growing a few plants in your own home. And, for my wife's sake, to have some police come through my house, detain her for a few hours, while they search the house and so on. It's a very unfair event. But before we move on from the free man stuff, just it's worth people knowing, certainly here in the UK, that you don't have to put your name on the electoral roll either. They threaten you with £1,000 fine, and they do come and knock on your door and say, "Hey, your name's not on the electoral register. You've got to do that." And you say, "No, I'm choosing not to. I don't have to do that." And they might come back every year, but they can't do shit. You just have to be nice. and tell them, I'm not doing it. I'm no longer consenting to this. I'm no longer, because when you sign the register and say, oh, yeah, I'll sign the electoral register, you're sort of implicitly saying you're going to go along with the game.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. That's exactly how I feel. I had one knocking on the door a week ago, actually, and she's like, "This is your name, though, isn't it?" And I'm like, "Whose name? I'm not a name." Well, you're looking at me. But anyway, yeah, they do come back every year. But that's such an important point. It's not whether you vote or don't vote. They don't give a whether you do or don't. It's the registering to vote that they're interested in. Because, like you said, it validates their corrupt, stinking cesspit of a system. Glad you said that.
You're complicit.
We only have to put no contract on the sender, and you shouldn't get any other knocks on the door. I had them at my door, and I threatened them with a £1,000 fine for doing their paperwork.
I've got a notice on my door, or I had a notice before the kids knocked it off, but it was hilarious. It was one of those ones, sort of standard notice that said, I don't care who you are, if you're selling something, go away, get off my property, meets and bounds, don't come back, or you'll get my fee schedule, etc., etc. But they knocked it off the door. But the amount, when it was up for about 5 years, and the amount of people I saw coming up my path with that little tag around their neck and a clip pad in their thing. Take one look at that, turn around and go next door. I thought it was brilliant, but sorry, I interrupted you totally.
Well, Harry said one good thing there, which is probably, rather than going into too much detail, the one great thing he said there was that basically, if you engage in any form of commercial communication, bill them for your time on every single thing you do. Yeah, just send it. This is unfortunately, it's company policy that we bill for this. Yeah, I can't help it. They're the rules. I know I'm the only person in the company, but
that's what I started doing with all the copyright notices YouTube kept sending our channel and my own personal Flat Earth Head channel. Is I started charging them back for all the time I was spending answering their copyright bullshit, and they finally quit.
Barclays Bank currently owe me about 88 grand in back payments. So.
Right. If only I had my big YouTube money.
You knew Savage would have someone rolled like that.
Well, in a roundabout way, let me ask this question before it gets too far up the chat. In a commercial standpoint, tomorrow will Terry be performing? I don't know if Terry performs commercially or not. I'm being silly, but Paul on the plane wanted to know.
Yes, I'm picking him up at the train station tomorrow morning.
Awesome. Well, there you go, Paul. Man, I wish I could be there. I'd bring my guitar and come hang out. Next year, for sure. Or you guys come over here and do the U.S. tour.
Yeah, absolutely. He's so happy to be being able to perform. He's really excited about it. So
awesome.
There's
been so many brilliant Flat Earth musicians that have come out. Of
do you just want to explain that for some of us dumber ones, and give the guy a shout out proper?
Sorry,
just say Josh, Adam. It's okay. My name is Josh. You can just say it.
I meant me, Josh. I meant me. I was trying to pretend it was for the viewers, for the audience, but it was me.
You're alluding again, weren't you?
I was. I was in broadcast mode. I also stop. It was me.
Well, on that note,
before you answer Adam's question, shut up, Savage. Who's this bloke
no one
that's
got
bringing
your
his
question.
guitar?
No one got your alluding, so shut the hell up.
Okay,
do you see this going next year, let's say? Do you see this going international, say a North American tour, a European tour, maybe a South American tour? What do you reckon?
Yes.
Robin.
Definitely. I've already heard Nathan Thompson. He commented on one of my show reels. He said, this has given me the idea to do this in the US. So I'm very much hoping he picks up the gauntlet. Yeah. And I know one or two around this hangout would like to be part of something too.
Absolutely. I'm sure. We just had Nathan on not too long ago, just a few weeks ago. So he himself, he's just sort of solo toured the country.
There's been a couple more as well. Richard Lopez and Daryl Marble. Daryl Marble is now considering doing something next year as well.
Awesome. I love D.
Marilyn, that was out with you guys. She's looking to go to Europe next year. She wants the banner in Arabic. She said she wants it in Arabic.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah,
she wants it in Arabic. She wants it in Arabic. She wants it in Spanish. She's looking to go and take the banners across Europe. And there's 007 out there in Tenerife who's invited us all out to Tenerife. And I was talking to Harry about that a few months ago. But I have a fear of flying. I don't want to get on a plane, and I know Harry knows that about.
I'm right there with you.
With Harry about that. And I said to Harry, remember we said, how would we go about going to Tenerife? And you're like, oh, just drive.
Oh, I was going to say that. We can't say it.
Yeah, we can. We can do Slay the Drive. But that's not beyond the realms of possibility. 007's asked us all to go out there. And, you know, Alan's out there with him as well, that you guys have met. Do you remember that hangout when he walked in? This guy is in Tenerife, right? And it was live on the hangout. And he's going to work to do a gig. He's a musician as well, and he plays music and does his gigs every night. And he's gone to a cafe to have a smoke and a drink before going to his gig. And he's literally sat down, and as he's on the hangout with us, he's like, oh, look, I met this guy the other week. He knows it's flat as well. And Harry and Jason and that are all on the hangout with me. And this guy pops onto the hangout. He's like, hi. And then he looks at Harry, and Harry looks at him. And you all kind of look at each other. And Harry's like, I know that guy. I met him. And he's like, and you're like, Alan? And he's like, Harry, Alan? And it's like, I couldn't make it up. Of all the bars in all of Tenerife, he's walked into one that knows Harry. He's like, no, I know Harry. We met in England. It's like you couldn't make it up. So with that being said, we now know that there's 2 definite flat earthers in Tenerife that are now into Meakin.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, and he's now at the point where he's flat smacking people at the beginning of every single one of his gigs, because there's a really popular bar down on a beach where everyone can see way beyond where they're supposed to see. And he brings it up at the start of every gig and then goes ahead and plays the gig and leaves everyone mulling it over while they're listening to his music. And he says they completely accept it because everyone goes there to watch the sunset.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they all know it. He says, you know how you can see that place from this place? And they'll go, yeah, you should be able to. Anyway, on with the next song. And it's like...
I always found that I was a lot more accepting on a pill. So, yeah, I can imagine that's probably the way to... If you're out clubbing, have it broken to you whilst you're clubbing and accept that reality that way. That's
yeah.
But that's a brilliant loop back there,
Go on.
Roxanne. That's a brilliant loop back there to the playing the song and letting Harry explain what the hell Adam was on about earlier.
Oh, you got it now, Savage.
No, I still don't know what you're on about.
Harry, help me.
Do you do busking or something? Or Harry, what do you do?
Beg your pardon?
Oh, no.
See, now he doesn't know what you're on about, you see, John.
Do you want me to answer, Adam?
Please.
Terry is the very kind-hearted, warm soul that gave Harry a ring literally 2 days after Jason had to withdraw to look after his mum. And he volunteered to jump on the bus. And the first stop, I think, was Carlisle. Harry, correct me if I'm wrong. It was Carlisle. And Terry just had this amazing smile, obviously a massive big heart, and he just started playing his guitar. And some of his songs are written by him, and they're complete Flat Earth songs. I don't know if you remember, crumbs. Who's the female artist who covers the song that he sang first, and he sang it quite a few times up in Carlisle? Oh, I'm not going to remember the name of the song.
The Satellite song?
Satellite.
Okay.
Tasmin Archer sang Sleeping Satellite.
Just add to that, I went down when I first seen Terry. He commented on my channel, and then I looked at his channel and I seen him singing a song. I thought, oh wow, Flat Earth song, that's amazing. So I started using it for my videos, and then I decided to go down to Liverpool to film Terry just to promote him, because I thought his energy and his music was amazing. So I met him a few times, and then he just disappeared. I never heard from him for 6 months. So I'm driving up to Liverpool, and I get a call. I'm passing his place, and he decides to call me just then. And oh, you did a tour, are you? Oh, I'd be interested in that. So I was going up myself anyway. So he joined the tour and came to Ireland with us. So it's such a coincidence, him just calling me as I was passing by Liverpool. And he was free for a week, so it was a no-brainer to jump on board. And I always dreamt of having Terry out in the street playing the guitar while we're doing street acts with him. But I could never foresee that happening for one reason or another. And here it was happening. And I felt really privileged to be out on the street hearing that in the background, because it really adds a new dimension to it. And you've got the banners, and you've got Terry singing, "There ain't no satellites and the Earth's not moving." It's fantastic. Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah.
Sweet.
Thank you.
So, y'all caught up now, John?
I am as well, let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to try to do something a little bit different this episode. We're going to take a page out of Nathan Oakley's book. And we're going to try to take a little break and hit an interview to break this up. You guys hear that music? You guys hear? That's custom music made for us, by the way, from the Full Armor OG. So that's our cue that we're going to take a little break. We're going to have Adam kill the stream, and once it's uploaded, we'll start the stream again. So just sit tight on this watch page, and as soon as we are back up and running, it'll pop right back on.
Oh, can we come back with gravity?
We can absolutely come back with gravity if you don't want to leave with gravity. Sure.
I don't know. That's the question. That's a good question.
Leave with gravity.
Roxanne, what do you think? Come back with gravity or leave with gravity?
Leave with gravity.
There we go. Then. That's it. Make me more work. That's it. Put me under pressure. That's fine.
You got your music. You got a bit of a build-up. Don't worry.
Keep talking now. I've got to get shit sorted.
He's got to make it happen, everybody.
I think Robin says that on a daily basis. Thanks, Roxanne. Give me more headache.
Well, while he's fumbling around, I'm going to say thanks to everyone in chat. It has been quite lively and active. I've tried to keep up, but it's beyond me. I love you all. Thank you all for being here, and everyone watching, and everyone out there that'll be checking this out later. Thank you so much.
And I'd say thanks to Dave, Harry, Roxanne, Jason, and Robin for being here. Really good to meet you.
Absolutely, guys.
And I hope you can stick around until after the break, if it ever comes back.
Yeah, we're not leaving. We're just trying to do something different to kind of break this up into more digestible chunks for later.
It's an experiment.
Yes, you're here for live
experimentation.
Right. You're the guinea pigs.
No, I reckon Nathan Oakley would claim it's not an experiment, and that we really shouldn't be calling it an experiment.
Or anything, right.
We're going to be doing things
scientific
and making observations. I think that's the best we've got.
We're going to make some observations by changing a few things up from our normal routine and see what the difference is in the result.
Changing a couple
and for
of
everyone
variables.
in chat and everyone that is watching, this is a don't leave, stay right where you are kind of thing. We're not going
don't say that. Don't go that far, Walt. It could be keep an eye on YouTube and find this stream because it could go
absolutely
wrong.
That means stay right here on YouTube and don't leave, so that if another notification pops up, you'll be ready to go.
Just hang out in chat. Hang out with everybody else in chat. There's a whole bunch of people in there. All kinds of
it's amazing
going on. So just go hang out, chat for a little bit while we're gone, and as soon as we come back, then you can go about your business.
We definitely have some amazing topics I want to address on future shows in the topics. So I'm writing things down.
Right, I'm ready. I'm ready when you are, guys.
Press the button.
Well, if everybody could mute apart from Walt, I'd appreciate it, and then we'll run out of here with a bit of gravity.
Are you playing gravity or am I, Adam?
I'm ready. I'm ready. Actually, I'm set up.
Okay, that doesn't answer my question because I have my screen sharing right now. So, are you ready to share my screen and I'm gonna play gravity, or are you ready to play gravity?
I'm ready for you to play gravity.
Perfect. That's what I like to hear.
And let's get those thumbs up out there.
Right here.
Adam, you're doing it as well now.
What?
I'll tell you when we get back.
All right. Well, without much further ado, because I know John loves ado, we'll be right back.
For sure.
Pretty high, our heads are almost in the clouds, and their feet are chained to the ground with their chains of misery. They've got a hold of me. They won't let go of me. Let go of me. They might have gravity on their side, but something's pulling us high. Got the potential to fly. Don't let them be what holds you back from this one incredible chance. They're lucky to have had a glance at you. While you defy gravity, they can be cruel and mean and a huge pain. Our heads are in the clouds now. Don't let them make it rain. A smile can be the sign they're missing out on their rainy day. They might have gravity on their side, but something's pulling us high. Got the potential to fly. Don't let them be what holds you back from this one incredible chance. They're lucky to have had a glance at you while you defy gravity. You defy gravity. They say we aren't strong enough. We don't have what it takes. I say yeah, they're wrong enough, and we'll show them someday. They might have gravity on their side, but something's pulling us high. Got the potential to fly. Oh yeah, don't let them be what holds you back from this one incredible chance. They're lucky to have had a glance at you while you defy gravity. You defy gravity.